Bevor wir uns in die Sommerpause verabschieden auf Reicher und Stark, haben wir noch ein Promo-Video für euch. Und zwar wieder für unsere UTOPÄON-Reihe. Diesmal geht es um die Mythologie, auf der eine gelebte Utopie basiert, nämlich Damanhur. Wir haben Betsy auf Reicher und Stark schon zweimal interviewt und diesmal ist sie in Graz am 14. August 2021 und zeigt einen Film über The Story of Everything, eine Geschichte, die einen unglaublichen Zeitraum umspannt und wie wichtig Geschichten für unsere Realität und für eine utopische Timeline sind, brauche ich auf dem Kanal nicht mehr zu sagen. Wie üblich, Links unten in der Sendungsbeschreibung. Abonniert auch unseren Kanal von UTOPÄON auf YouTube, ist auch unten verlinkt. Und ich hoffe, ich sehe einige von euch am 14. August zur Story of Everything mit Betsy und Edgar Bültemeyer. I'm very pleased to welcome Betsy and Edgar Bültemeyer here on our promo video for our UTOPIAN event on August 14th, 2021. Jörg and I, we will host this event together with our team, with Markus and Stephanie. And yeah, Betsy and Edgar, we know each other since a few years. And every time we talk, it's about storytelling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I mean, you know, we always say the shortest distance between two people is a story. So I think story is one of the best ways that we connect with one another.
And you live in Damanhur, Betsy, and Damanhur is founded on a story, one could say, on a whole new mythology.
Indeed, in fact. And first, I just wanted to thank both of you for hosting us and for hosting the film. And in fact, this film is based on the core mythology that's at the foundation of Damanhur. And that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in Damanhur even knows this full story. But over 40 years, Falco, the spiritual founder of our community, delivered piecemeal over 40 years this mythology, this story of humanity that stretches far beyond the history books, far beyond our accepted archaeological timeline. And he didn't do it in a linear way. So when I came to Damanhur, I felt I was called here because I'm a storyteller. And in some way, it became a life mission to delve through the teachings, the archive, the minds of people here who had close contact with Falco, and try to assemble this core mythology of humanity that, in fact, I believe represents global consciousness.
Yeah, I've had the honor of joining the world premiere of this movie, which you two made together. And the premiere was hosted by Charles Eisenstein. That was a quite big event. And you call it the story of everything. I think that's a reference to the theory of everything. So tell us a bit about it. It's just part one, and you two made this movie.
Yes, so Edgar has actually been a driving force in this project. This has been 10 years of research and assembly for me, but I didn't have the means or the capacity to put this together in a way that it could be conveyed to a larger public. In fact, this is oral storytelling that takes place in what we call the story room here in Damanhur. And in the past, this has been an oral tradition that's been transmitted with people in the room and me conveying it. And so in a way, this film is the same thing, but with some added animation and imagery to help people not have to look at my face for 54 minutes. So to create a bit of relief in that. And, you know, Edgar really has, you know, this has been very much a mission I think, for him as well, and he can speak to that. Yeah.
Yeah, should I say something? I think, yeah, it was, we came together in 2015 and in touch with this, or I came in touch with this project, and I think it evolved from them. So the original idea we had, or the ideas we had to move forward with this were a bit different than what it turned out to be right now. And I think the work on the film was interesting. It was in some way very a bit complex, let's say. So the story behind it, and also when you sit in front. So for me, as one who edited, you sit in front of this material, which is really, really complex because it touches so many different, basically, timelines, or you develop some sort of idea in your head, and then we had new information coming in by the time when we already thought it would be finished. Then we had 7 more weeks to put it in, and it was really it's kind of like you think your brain is you're turning too much because you have all this thing laid up, and then you have to kind of overthrow it and make it new. And I think it's been a complex thing. And then we have material for 2 more films, and in the other parts we would like to have also some some original people who actually lived the story, or actually were witnessing parts of what's been talking about. And we're looking forward to find a way to do that. We can't continue on our own right now because we don't have the resources. And
Right. We actually have a Patreon campaign where we've put the call out to people who have really, it's for people who've seen the film, who want to see the next 2 parts of it. So this initial part takes us from what we would call the beginning of the world of form, this very solid reality, apparently solid reality that we live in. And it takes us up to the downfall of historic Atlantis. And it touches time in a very diverse way than we're used to speaking about time. And the next 2 parts of the film, which we are currently seeking funding for, take us from the colonies of Atlantis, which are some societies that we're familiar with, and bring us through the contemporary times and the creation of Dominor, and speaks about a separation of the planes, or a fragmentation off of a previously existing timeline that had a very pejorative outcome for humanity. And it very much relates to where we are today in our lives in terms of this new timeline that together we're creating. And this new timeline is really dependent on every quotidian choice of every person on the planet at this very critical moment in history. And so this initial part of the film lays the groundwork for that, to understand where we are now and why we're in the place we are now as human society on this planet.
Mhm. Did you try to submit the documentary to festivals?
We haven't done that at this point, primarily because we feel there's this film has a very diverse worldview than what probably 90% of the people on the planet currently hold. And I come from the film industry. I have industry friends who've seen the film, and honestly, it's not part of their worldview. So they don't know what to do with it, what to do with the content, where to, it's too far. We speak about spiral dynamics and the concept of spiral dynamics based on Claire Graves was the initiator of this concept.
We did a video on Reicher and Stark. I will put a link up there.
Great. Yeah. Yes, and so Claire Graves was essentially a social psychologist who started to identify a spiral of consciousness based on worldviews. And one of the precepts of that is you can't speak from more than a half a level above the currently held worldview of the people that you're speaking to. And so in many ways, this film is coming from a very diverse and broad worldview. And for many people, it's science fiction. And that's fine. People can encounter the story as science fiction. But there are also core principles in this film that relate to how we're living on the planet currently.
I never looked, to be honest, if there are, but are there festivals who are addressing these kind of films specifically? These kind of let's say fringe material, or aren't there?
I would have to do some research to answer that question. I couldn't answer it off the top of my head. Initially, our desire was for this film to have a soft landing. And we initially premiered this within the NAAS community. That's the New and Ancient Story community that was created by Charles Eisenstein. And Charles was actually part of one of the incubators in which I had storytellers from all over the planet come here in an effort to seed this story with, storytellers who have, who are reputable on the planet, so to speak. And so Charles was always a supporter of this work. And when we finished it, offered to host the premiere screening of it, which we did. And it was, well attended by many of the people in his community.
Yeah, I think it will find its way, though. It's maybe not necessarily not necessary to spread it through the usual channels. Maybe it's this is the new kind of spreading of material, so to speak. So you have to spread it through how do you say in English for Mundpropaganda, Bernhard?
Oh, so word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah.
Word of mouth. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe Utopian will become a new film festival. No?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So for all you people out there who are interested in this kind of world-spanning human and more than human mythology, come to our Utopian event on August 14th. And you have the chance to not only see the movie, but also get together with Betsy and Edgar, the filmmakers. And afterwards, there's going to be an opportunity to experience both of you, I think, as channel medium.
Yes, we're both channels and mediums, and this faculty opened up through our meeting and in a way through this work that we're doing. And in fact, the group that we channel have said to us that in the film will start out as a small fire with a few twigs and a little bit of kindling. And occasionally there'll be a bit of alcohol thrown on it and it will flare up. And I think I've done some globally broadcast radio interviews, and we see a little spike. And they said by this fall, it will start to become a bonfire. So I don't know how that will happen, but that's been the preview of the path that this film will take in the course of the next few months. We're really coming into that time soon. So my hope is that maybe your screening will be the blast heard around the world that will really get this film out to people and make it accessible. So again, really, we have a lot of gratitude for both of you for organizing this and for inviting us into this forum.
Thank you for coming. We have to thank, because this will be a very interesting event, I think, and the channeling afterwards will interesting for many people who attend the event.
It will be interesting for us as well, because in the past we've done primarily channeling sessions one-on-one with people, and the group that we channel have said it's time to open that up now and to make their voice and what they have to bring to the world available to a broader audience. So in a way, this is a bit of an experiment for us. This will be the first time we do such a public channeling. but we've been working privately with clients now for about the past 4 years.
And for our non-English speaking audience, Edgar, will you be channeling in German or in English as well?
It depends. I mean, first of all, this is also my first time doing this, but I can do it in German or English. It doesn't matter. I can do it in German.
Okay, we'll see at the event. So don't be afraid. If you don't speak English very well, we have the possibility to translate or convey your questions in a way that it will be accessible.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, so I hope that many of you will join us. It will really be such a pleasure to share this material and to also have the opportunity to have a discourse about it afterwards. So don't be shy, come out.
That's a great, that's a great call. Yeah, come.
Yeah. So be part of the mythology of humanity. Remember maybe some bits and pieces and contribute to a better future.
Have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone.
See you on August 14th.
Bye.